Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PoorConsult's YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to continue building our decentralized application. In the previous two parts, we have started and completed writing our smart contract using Remix, and we have successfully deployed the smart contract on Ethereum's Rinkeby testnet. If you haven't watched those two parts, I'll suggest you to definitely go take a look at them and make sure you have completed the smart contract and deploy it also, and only then get to this third part. I'll put the links down below so as you can watch them before watching this video. With that said and out of the way, now let's start today's part. So far we have the contract deployed, and in today's video we'll create the front page. We'll start creating the front page, okay? So because none of the decentralized applications is complete without a user-friendly interface. However, to do it, we need to somehow first of all get our front end, we need to realize the connection of the front end with the blockchain to be able to read the data, retrieve the data from the smart contract, and write the data into the smart contract. Okay, that's basically what the dApp is. Okay, and to do it we need to use React. We have a video where we teach you the basics, the very basics. We get you familiar with React. I'll put the link to that video as well. If you haven't watched it, please take a look at it if you never used React and are totally unaware what I'm talking about. However, if you have at least the basic knowledge of React, then you won't find it any difficult to continue watching the video from this point on. Okay, with that said and out of the way, now let's see what we do. First of all, let me bring my terminal in here and let's create a folder. I'm going to do it from scratch, from the very beginning. Okay, very beginning. I'll install React now and you'll see it, and we'll create and initiate the connection to the blockchain. Okay, so we got documents. Let's create a folder. Let's call it drop. How we call it? Drop less. Okay, okay, let's see. Drop lesson. All right, drop lesson. Let's create it, and then we cd into drop lesson. And then we open the VS Code terminal, VS Code, Visual Studio Code code writing. Okay, about my local IDE. If you have any other local IDE that you use, such as Atom or something else, just open your code editor. Okay, I'm using VS Code. All right, so we turn it on. And as I have stated many times in my previous videos, I prefer using this built-in terminal for VS Code. So you can continue using your terminal in your computer, but I prefer the built-in terminal in here. So type in here npx create react app, and let's give it a name. So the folder we are creating a React app, and we need to create another folder inside this drop lesson folder. Okay, so let's give that folder's name drop lesson, let's say 1. Okay, so npx create React app drop lesson 1. Okay, press enter and let it install. I pause the video in here. It's gonna take around a minute and get back to you once it's done, so as we don't waste time. Alright guys, looks like it's been successfully installed. React, right? We have initiated it. We can see here on the left column that it has initiated a React project. And so far so good. Now let's get into it. So I'm not going to explain you what these files are. If you are not familiar with it, please watch the video that is down below in the description, where I'm explaining you in details what these files are and what are they responsible for. But for now, without wasting time on that stuff, let me get rid of some files from here. Okay, this is what we do now. We delete it. All right, now then we go to app.js. Make sure you get rid of this CSS and also the logo that we don't need. Also get rid of this image from there. And basically now let's get rid of all of it. All right, we don't need these two. Let's create another div in here. Okay, and yeah, we're gonna save it. Then go to index.js and get rid of this report web vitals or whatever it was, because we have deleted it. Delete from there and from this part. Otherwise, if we don't delete it, it will break, because we have deleted from this their file. Okay, file is deleted, so we are cleaning it up. We are not gonna use it. Save it also. And now let's run the server. Let's see if it's working. npm run start. Alright, you see it's not working because we haven't entered the folder. You see, we are still in the drop lesson folder, but we have created where the React app is React project is generated in the drop lesson 1 folder. So we need to go there, type in drop lesson 1. Okay, and click enter. Okay, so now we are in the right folder. Now type npm run start and let's start the server. Okay, because I have already one server running, so it's asking me, would you like to run the app on another port? I say yes. See here, see, it was running on 3000, now it's localhost 3001, and as you see, it's nice and tidy, working. We don't have obviously anything to show here because it's empty. You see in the app.js, if we create here, I don't know, like a oops, sorry, if we create a p tag and say, I don't know, hello world. Okay, if we go hello world, we save it, we go back, we see hello world. All right, so it's being rendered and shown on this page. Cool. So we are done with it. Now let's see what we do next. So once it's installed, we need let's come here, let's app. Okay, let's make some changes in here. First of all, guys, let's change the name of our app.js. Let's call it drop list. Okay, because we are, I mean, the project of ours is about drops, right? We remember, yeah, NFT drops. So let's give it some familiar names, so as yeah, it's easier for us to work later on, right? Yeah, yes, just click on yes, come in here. So let's actually change this function into the more better way to write it. Let's say const drop list, and then we have these, okay, this way of writing, okay, this const, yeah, you could left it that way, but I better prefer this const drop list, and then we have our function. Make sure you change it in here as well, drop list. Okay, good, and then save it there. Go to index, and now we are not importing app, instead we are importing drop list from drop list, right? Drop list from drop list. This been auto changed when we clicked yes just a moment ago. And in here it's not app, it's excuse me, drop list, right? If we save it, you see it's compiled successfully. We go back, we see then the project isn't broke and it's working. Perfect, good. Now let's continue. Let's actually come here and create another folder. Let's call it components, even though currently we just have one component. Click on move, and again yes, so it will change the when you click yes, it just changes this the route, okay, the way to find your file. It's now in components and then drop list. Okay, so this route, it automatically changes for you. All right, so this is components, and actually now we need to create another folder as well, and let's call it contract. Okay, contract, and inside the contract folder, let's create a new file and call it contract.json. Okay, good. Now in the contract JSON, we need to pass in some information about our contract that we have deployed in the previous section, all right, in the previous part. So how to do that? Let's open the curly braces, and then we type in some information. So first, address. Okay, we need to pass in the information about the address of our smart contract, so it needs to find our smart contract from millions of smart contracts from the blockchain, right, that are deployed on the blockchain. So address, okay, we'll see it in a moment. And the next info we need to give him is ABI. All right, ABI. So where to find it? If you guys remember, go back to the place where you have deployed it, right? So in the previous lesson, I'm sure you have completed it with me before watching this video. So you have deployed the contract. Go to that deployed contract page, rinkabiterscan.io, and get your contract address here. You can copy it, but if you have closed the window, you can I'll remind you that you can still find it by going back to your sorry, not here. You can go to your Metamask wallet. Let's see what we're having here. Drop list, drop less than one source, module not found. Okay, what an error we have here. Let's first try to solve the error. Okay, let's first finish these guys, and then we'll it's somehow not getting compiled, something we didn't write well, we'll get fixed it. But first of all, the contract address. So you can go to your, I'm just switch to another Metamask wallet in here. You just go to your Metamask wallet, open it up, see the transaction, the deployment of the contract, click on it. It will show you the link to the Etherscan. Okay, you'll go to that, click on that link, and you will see the Etherscan page pop up. Okay, and you will see the contract address. All right, so the Metamask keeps in the information about the transactions and the transactions hash related to those transactions. You just click on the transaction, find the hash, click on the hash, and you will see your smart contract address. So copy that address and paste it right in here inside this brackets. Okay, so this is a smart contract address. Okay, of course your address is not the same as mine. And for the ABI, if we scroll down, we'll see our contract that we have written, right? It's already deployed and verified with the green check mark in here. And if we scroll a bit down, we see the contract ABI. So we just click the copy sign. All right, we copy it just like that, and we paste it in here. All right, we paste it in here, and then we click on save. So once it's saved, you see it gets like really beautiful in here. So formatted for me because I have the pre-tier installed. If you don't have it, this is a VS Code extension. You can Google it, how to install VS Code extensions, and install the pre-tier. Okay, the pre-tier extension, it makes the Solidity, and not only Solidity but the entire code that you're writing, and once you save, it gets formatted beautifully. Okay, cool. Now let's go back and try to fix the problem we had. Okay guys, the issue was that I just didn't save this index file, so you won't have that issue. Okay, I changed the name in the index.js, right? I changed it to drop list. I changed the app into drop list, and the road I also changed it to drop list, but I didn't save it. Here I changed it to drop list as well. So because it wasn't saved, it was trying to find the app, and he couldn't find the app because it was changed to drop list in here. So that's why it was breaking. If you just saved the changes, you will see that it's still rendering fine without issues. Okay, cool. Now we have the contract and we have passed in all the contract information. The next step is to do the following. So next step, we come in here to the drop list component, all right, and we have to import the contract. So let's type in import contract from, where are we importing it from? So we are importing it from contract, the path, right, the right path we need to type in here, and then slash contract.json. Okay, it's coming in from there. Okay, next, what we do next. So we need to install the Web3 JavaScript library. Okay, so in order to get connected to the blockchain, we need two things. We need to have the Metamask, the browser extension. Okay, you are definitely familiar with it. If not, watch a bunch of our videos about Metamask. We have explained every aspect of it in details. So you need to have Metamask installed, and also we need to install now Web3.js, the JavaScript library. Okay, so if you want to find more information what the Web3 library is, you can Google it, you can find other videos. I don't want to spend time now on explaining what it is. I'm just telling you that how to do it and what to do. Okay, so here, in order to do it, first of all, we need to stop our server from running. So type in Control-C. All right, so now the node is stopped. Okay, it's not running. You could also leave it open and open another terminal and work from there. So up to you, whatever way you prefer. And now we need to install Web3. Okay, so type in npm install Web3. Okay, click on enter. And it's gonna take some time, probably a minute or two, so I'm gonna pause the video in here, wait until it's installed, and then we continue. Alright guys, looks like it's been successfully installed and we are ready to go. I don't think this saved. Where is it complaining? Okay, it's saved, it's perfect. Let's restart our server and see if everything is working. npm run start. Okay, click on enter. Y, yes, and let's see it run again. Okay, it's running again and it's working. So what we have done, we have just installed this Web3 library. Okay, that's all. And now it's being compiled. Okay, let's just create. Okay, we don't create anything, we just leave it there. It's working, so it's being rendering and it's fine. Now we need to import this library that we have just installed, right? So we need to type in import. It goes to Web3 and then from Web3. Okay, so this, make sure this is the uppercase Web3. Okay, and then now guys, take a look in here. When we save, it should be working, but it's not. It's trying to compile. You see, it's compiling, and then it says it's breaking change Webpack 5. All right, if we come here, we see an error. And I guess, I don't know when are you watching my video, maybe by the time that you are watching this issue with Webpack is already solved. But if you are watching and facing the same issue as I do, I have a way to solve it. Okay, so I'm going to teach you and tell you now how to fix this issue. All right, I won't go into details why exactly it's breaking and what's wrong. Just know that something it has to do with this Webpack, this newly installed Webpack that is being installed with React. When we are installing it, it has some confrontations with the Web3 library and it's breaking, it's not working. And now we need to find a fix, and luckily for you, I have the fix, and I've intentionally leave it this way so as we can try and do it together. So what to do now? First step, we come in here to this package log JSON and we are deleting it. Okay, we are getting rid of it. Delete this file, move to trash. Okay, so yeah, in here we can stop the server. We should have stopped it earlier, but just stop the server. We don't need the server now. So we deleted this package.log. Then we come in here and we need to uninstall the Webpack. So type in npm uninstall npm uninstall Webpack. All right, so we uninstall the Webpack. Give it a minute, or not even a minute, seconds. It's now uninstalled. The next thing we do, we go to package JSON. Okay, so you see it appeared again, this package log JSON. Don't worry, we'll delete it again now. Come to package JSON and here find the React scripts, and we need to change the version. Go to 4.0.3. okay, and then we save it. After we save it, we come back here and we delete again one more time the package log. Oops, make sure you are not deleting the wrong file. All right, so delete, move to trash. Okay, don't unintentionally, guys, delete the package.json. Okay, package lock.json is to be deleted, not the package.json. So once you delete it too, the next thing we need to do is to install the webpack version that we require, that we need to have. So type in npm in your terminal install, and it goes webpack, and we have 4.44.2. okay, so npm install webpack at 4.44.2. click on enter. So let's give it some time to be installed, and after it gets installed, we have only one step left. We need to run the npm install command, and it should fix the problem. Fingers crossed. This is the only, well, the most famous solution currently available. So let's type in again now npm install, click on enter, give it a second, it should be fast. Alright, it installed. Now let's run the server again and see if we have fixed the issue or not. npm run start. Come on, baby, be working please. Yes. And let's see, come on, it's working or not? Come on. Yes, perfect. Take a look at it. So it's being rendered again, right? Just to prove you, if we come to drop list, so let's change hello world to hello Bob, and save it again. You see, don't pay attention to these errors, because it says it's compiled with warnings. It's not errors. So these warnings are that we are importing this contract and Web3, but we are not using them, so we're gonna use them later on, so don't worry about it. Most importantly, hello Bob is being successfully compiled. So this, we have overcome this issue, and this is good. Next thing, guys, we have to do is to import the useState hook from React. We need to use the useState hook in the process of initiating a connection with the blockchain. If you are not familiar with React, you probably don't know what the useState or useEffect, all those hooks are in the functional based components. They are being widely used. I do suggest you take a React course. Again, I mean, if you are totally unaware about React, but if you don't want to, no worries. I'm gonna tell you and explain to you step by step what the useState hook is and how you can use it. So if you don't really require the very deep knowledge of it, then just the basics. I hope I'll be able to successfully explain it to you, and you will understand, and you'll see how simple and easy in reality it is. Okay, so let's curly braces useState. We first have to import it from React, right? From React. And then let me show you an example, and on that example you will understand how to use it. So let's give it a const, and let's have a counter. Okay, and then set counter. Alright, equals useState, and I'll initiate its value to 0. So in here, guys, this first variable is the actual value. All right, so this is the actual value of the counter. Okay, and the second variable is the function. This is the function that will alter, that will change this value. All right, now we want to use this set counter to change the state. Okay, to change the state. So whatever is passed into this state equals the value of this variable, of the counter variable, and we need to use this set counter to change the state and hence change the value of the counter. Every time state updates, the screen renders that component. It means we can set the counter dynamically, and we can set the counter dynamically, and we can change the value using our state. So I'll show you how to do it. Let's come in here, and this in the p tag, let's open the curly braces, and we use curly braces to indicate that it's gonna be a dynamic value inside it. Okay, the changeable dynamic value. So let's call it counter. Okay, so we put the counter value in here. That's it. And if we save now, if we save and if we go to see the screen, what do you think we're gonna see? What's gonna be the value of the counter of our variable? And if you have guessed it, it's gonna be 0, right? Because the value in the state is being passed, we manually pass it 0, and the counter shows us 0. However, what we want to do is we want to change the value of counter dynamically. Okay, so we don't want every time to change the value of the state. If we type in 4, if we save, we go there, we see 4. But we don't want to do that. What we want is we want it to change dynamically, and to do it, as I have said, we need to use this function, this set counter function. So how to do it? Come in here, let's create another p tag. Let's give it a name, let's say click me. Okay, it's the name, and then we need to create an on click event. All right, on click event, and this event is going to take in a function. Okay, a function, and we need to call the function set counter and say counter, let's say +1. Okay, so we click and we are creating an on click event, all right, on this click me, and this on click event is taking the function, the set counter function, which instead gives us the counter +1. If we save it and we go back, we'll see, if we refresh it, we see it's got click me, right? If we click on it, you see the value is being changed and it's being added 1. Every time we click on it, it's being added 1, 10, 11, 12. So why is it happening so? Because we have the counter, right? And the set counter function, it says we take the variable, the value of the counter, and add 1 on it. Okay, and it's an on click event. It means this function fires off whenever we are clicking on it, and when we click on it, it takes the value of this function of this counter, okay, of this variable. It gets its value, and then it adds 1 onto it and passes the value into the state, and then the state instead changes the value of the counter, and we are having the result. Okay, so now it doesn't matter what is written in here in the state, because the value in here is being derived by the set counter function that changes the value in the state, which in turn passes the value to the counter. So I hope it makes sense. The next thing we need to do is we create another const, call it initial info. Okay, initial info, and that equals to an object, and is going so this initial info is going to be the object of values I want to initialize in the state. Okay, so object of values that I need to initialize in the state, and which means that I come here first. Let's this counter, we change it into info. Okay, let's say set info, and for the use state we take our initial info and put it in there. So the object of values that I'm gonna specify in here, it will be passed to the state, and from the state it will give the values to the info variable. Okay, so later on we just use info. This info will come with whatever object values that we specify in here, and we can start by doing the following. Let's say connected. Okay, so connected, we go false. At start is not connected. Status, we can do null. Okay, and then account, and this is the MetaMask account that is gonna get connected to, and in the start is also null, and the last piece is contract, which is null as well. All right, so save it, and it says it's not defined, counter is not defined. Wait a second. Okay, yes, the counter is not defined because we need to get rid of these two. We don't need them anymore. Let's save it again, and we see we have successfully compiled. It's not breaking, and that's it. So we changed the const into info, set info, and the initial info that we have specified, the object with different values, we have passed into the state, which in turn changes this info variable. I hope it makes sense. And this part is gonna be a little bit more technical, the actual part of setting up a connection with Metamask and with our smart contract, but I assure you is nothing difficult in here. You'll see how easy it is, and just bear with me, okay? Even if you don't understand something in here, just follow me and you will have it done. Okay, so next step, we need to initiate a new const, let's call it init. Okay, and this function is gonna be asynchronous function, and you will understand why just in a moment. So don't worry about this asynchronous part of it. It's I'm gonna write it down very slowly and explaining all. So what are we doing? We need to make sure, we need to see first of all, when we have making a connection, if our browser contains it has a MetaMask wallet, a MetaMask extension installed in it or not. Okay, so we say if, and then we go if window dot ethereum, all right, that is MetaMask. Okay, MetaMask allows us to do so, and in here we need this question mark. If we have MetaMask, then do something, all right, or we have else, do something else. Okay, so it tells, it first checks if, as I said, MetaMask is installed or not. If yes, we want it to perform some actions, which we are gonna write in here. If not, if else, then something else will be written in here. And let's start with a case of there is nothing in there. If there is nothing in there, then what we do? First, we want this set info, okay, the initial state, this that is being that is being in here, this set info in this function, we want it to show. So we type in there set info, all right, and then it goes, we open up the object, the actual object. We want all this initial info, okay, to be shown first of all, and then we can change some part of it. Okay, so it goes initial info, all right, and this syntax means bring all this initial info, okay, that is the settings of these objects that we have written in there, and then we want to change one of them, the status. Okay, so the status that we want to change, it will show us what we want to show to the client, to the user who doesn't have a MetaMask but wants to connect to our smart contract. So we're gonna tell him, let's just type in here, I mean you need MetaMask, all right. It might be any message that you want to show him if he doesn't have the MetaMask connection. Okay, so again, we are bringing in this initial info. We don't want to change, okay, everything. We just want to bring it in here and then change just the one object inside it, which is the status. Okay, so this is the first thing. Now let's see if we have MetaMask, then what we do then. If we have MetaMask, then let's go, we go to const, so let's type it here, const, we go accounts, okay, and I'll explain it in a moment. Okay, let me write it down. We have await because it's an asynchronous function, and then we have window again dot ethereum dot, we need to request something, and what are we requesting in here? Let's pass in the object which takes in a method, all right, and this method is called eth, and then we have this underscore request accounts. request accounts. Okay, so what are we doing in here? We are waiting, all right, we are awaiting for window.ethereum, which is injected into our browser if we have the MetaMask extension, MetaMask wallet extension set up. So we are awaiting for window.ethereum, and once we have it, once it checks for MetaMask is installed, then we are requesting using a method, we are requesting the accounts. All right, we are requesting the accounts that we have in our MetaMask wallet. Okay, so this is the syntax. Now it's gonna await. Once it gets this array of accounts, it's gonna put it in this variable. Okay, so this variable accounts, it will contain all these addresses, okay, of our MetaMask wallet, and that's why it's an asynchronous function, because we need to wait for the response coming from the browser. So this is first, but we don't only want to have the accounts, we also want probably to have the network ID, right? Because you know, we might be on the different networks on MetaMask, such as Smart Chain, Rinkeby, Ethereum, so we want to see on which network we are on. So it means then let's basically just copy this part. Okay, we copy it and then we paste it, but just change the accounts to network ID, right? Let's go to network ID, and then it takes another method, which is obviously not the request accounts. It's called net version, right? Net version, network version. We need to specify if let's see, we say if, let's see which network we are on, right? So if network ID, and if it equals, so 1 stands for Ethereum, 4 is Rinkeby, and since our contract is deployed on Rinkeby, so let it be that way. If network ID equals 4, I mean if our MetaMask is on Rinkeby network, then what we do, then let Web3 equal new Web3, and this Web3 is with capital letter, with uppercase, I mean, yeah, watch out for it. And then window.ethereum, right? Window.ethereum. Oh yeah, this Siri keeps on popping up. So window.ethereum. Also, we need to again bring up our setinfo function, setinfo, and let's see what we do inside there. Inside we need the initial state again, as we did previously. So we need to bring the initial state again. We are using this syntax, initial info. And now let's see what we want to change. First of all, we want this case, we want connection to be true, right? Here we had connected false. Now we want to change it into true. Next thing, we want the account. So account here was null, right? But here we have account. So where is our account? Remember, we had this const accounts that I said is gonna wait for the array of accounts and put it in this variable. So we have our accounts array, and we want the first one, okay, the first account that comes, which is the one that we are on. Okay, so we want that account, okay, at 0, okay, at 0 level. So this is accounts, and then we need the final part, which is the contract itself. Okay, so we need to tell to which contract we are trying to initiate a connection to, right? So new, again, web3.eth contract, guys, with uppercase, pay attention, always with uppercase in here. And for the contract, remember, we have the contract, we have already set it up in here, where we got the contract address and ABI. So we have it, and in here we are already importing it to our drop list component. So with all that done, we have not much work to do. We just need to type in contract .abi, and also contract .address. Okay, so far so good. We have it done. Perfect. Let's see, let me think what else we do. And so if network ID is 4, then we have this connection. If network ID is not 4, then let's do another else. Okay, if it's not 4, then we need to tell him to change. Okay, so again, set info, it's coming up, takes in the object, again initial info, let's write it that way, and the status, we could just copy paste it from there, but whatever. Let's see, you need to be on Rinkeby network. Okay, let us perform this message to him, and that's all. For this part we have initiated it. We need this use effect hook, and this is another hook, unlike useState. This one just we use it for some functions to perform at start, at the beginning. Okay, so we need we want this init to be executed once we get to the website. Okay, once we open the website, we want the first thing to do to initiate this init function. So that's why we need to use the so-called use effect hook. So type in here use effect, and then it's being written this way. So we have the use effect, we have this, and then okay, this part. And for use effect, let's bring our init. Okay, we can just copy it from there and put it in there. Okay, init. So that's it. We save it. We save it. All right, so it's being compiled successfully. If we go to our browser, we refresh. All right, and also we need one more thing to do, which is once somebody, I mean the user, he changes the network or he changes the account, we want the page to reload. Okay, so if he suddenly is using on the website and then he goes to another account or changes the network, we want a notification to pop up and let him and the page to reload. Okay, it's important for him not to accidentally change it or leave it, okay, the page. So that's why we go to const init on change. That's what you see in most of the websites. All right, and here it takes a function. All right, and see what we do. If we need to specify again window.ethereum, if window.ethereum, then what we do, we want window.ethereum.on, and we want it to listen to an event which is accounts changed, and if so, this will kick off a function which will perform many things. We can, but in our case we just want window.location.reload. all right, so that's what we need, window location reload, and we can basically copy it, paste it one more time here, because we don't only want accounts changed, but we also want chain. All right, so if the chain changes, not the account, but this person goes from Matic, from Polygon, say Rinkeby or some other network, we want it to reload as well. And then we want copy it and paste it right in here. Okay, so this also kicks off at start, and then when we save it, we see we have a small compilation error. All right, yeah, right in here, it's an arrow function. Okay, save it again, we see that it's compiled successfully. Then I noticed, guys, here we have a typo. It should be an account, right? So account, oops, account. Save it again. Cool. Then the next step, we want to console.log. Let's console log the info. Okay, here, this info, wherever everything is saved, and then we save it. And if we go back to the browser, it's compiled, refresh. Just let's open the console. So go developer tools, we see the console, and as we can see, we have an object in here where we see the connected. It shows the account that we are connected with, and you can see this is in our MetaMask. 0xA1, right? A1, yes. Our account, it's connected, connection is true, we have the contract and everything there. Now if we try to change the network, if we go to Ethereum mainnet, say, then we see you need to be on Rinkeby network. So the chain changed, it pops up and gives us an information that the chain is changed. If we also try to change the account, if we go back to Rinkeby, and yeah, see, now it's cool, now it's good, it's connected, status true, everything is fine. If we change the account to, let's say, this account, then it says, yeah, it just shows us that it's reloads and shows us that we are on another account. Account has changed, so it's working dynamically as we wanted it to work. So far so good. We have successfully initiated the connection with the blockchain, yeah, that's it. So in the next section we'll do the next step, which is we'll upload information from our front end. We'll create a front end, we'll see how the basic decentralized application performs, how it works, how we can push information into the smart contract, and how we can retrieve that information and show the information from the smart contract on our front page. Yeah, so we need to call the certain functions from our smart contract, perform them, and bring them on the front page so as the users can see, because most of the applications, be it financial apps or whatever apps we're using, we need to interact with the smart contract, and that's why we have this video of initiating the connection with the smart contract. So as in the next step, once we create the front end, we'll be able to read the data and change the data, alter the data of the smart contract from our front page. Okay, so that's what the basically decentralized application is. That's it, guys. That's all for today's video. Hope it was useful for you. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Get subscribed if you haven't done it yet, so as you won't miss the continuation parts of this series. That's all. Have a nice day and see you all in the next video. Goodbye.